video journal to continue. A video journal that I created a couple of days ago and uploaded to YouTube. It was a 1 hour speech on one of my favorite authors' trilogy, Robert Greene, the 3 books of Robert Greene, 48 Laws of Power, Art of Seduction, and 33 Strategies of War, trying to explain to simpletons the meaning of those things, the deeper meanings. All right, so I'm just joking. On the news yesterday, the author of the book Mean Girls, that's not the title of the book. The title of the book, I think she wrote her book in 2002, and it's called Queen Bees and What a Bees. That was a mispronunciation. Anyway, she was on the news. I clicked the Mark Zuckerberg news story of Facebook, and just to check up, I don't agree with news anchors cyberbullying Mark Zuckerberg, even if he has billions of dollars. So anyways, the principal in this movie is the key character to understanding this. It has a massive cult following. It's a Saturday Night Live movie is the most important thing to understand. Saturday Night Live sketches are directed toward an international audience, not just certain generations of Americans like most movies have hyper-focused thing, whatever. Here is like almost like a timeless classic, has a cult following. Somehow I stumbled across it, I watched the movie. I was astounded myself. The character who plays the principal, he also plays Leon Phelps in The Ladies' Man. That's also a Saturday Night Live movie. It's sort of a series of movies, Saturday Night Live produced movies. There's Wayne's World, that I think I might have found the origin of in 1990, just 1 or 2 years before the movie. There was a TV program all about computers and about video games, and it's sort of the Noah's Arcade character. Anyways, that's on my Watch Later playlist somewhere. It's either above or below this, I'm not sure. Anyways, so Leon Phelps, and I was just watching this 2-minute clip up there at the top, and he says the word dignity, and it's a really funny way. So Rosalind Wiseman, who wrote the book that Mean Girls is based on, she has a charity organization. Is it called a 401c3 or something like that? And it's called something with dignity. I can never remember, but the key word is dignity. Every time I see the word dignity, I think of Rosalind Wiseman. I still haven't read the book. I don't know if the audiobook's on YouTube or Audible. Hopefully it is. So let me see if I can. It's hard to sort of pinpoint exactly what is. I think so many people can relate to this movie. They know women like this in their lives and stuff internationally. And, even when authors write a villain character, a character who's not a likable character, it's still a projection of their own psychology. So in my opinion, the mean girl is the woman who wrote this book herself, Rosalind Wiseman. She had no idea they would turn it into a Saturday Night Live movie. And anyways, so in my opinion, I have on this playlist some other women who are most like the mean girls, more than anyone else. Is, like it says, here's the family girls of the Charles Manson family. And I also have to mention Charles Berry, aka Chuck Berry, who wrote a song, Route 66, that goes with my most recent vlog just now. Route 66 is completely off topic. It's a freeway from New York to California or something like that, from the East Coast to the West Coast. And a woman, Italian-American woman named Petito, her last name is Petito, and my last name is Petrino. And they share 4 of the 7 letters that are in both our last names. So it feels like a personal attack on my end. Anyway, speaking of Italian American women, what people never in news stories, when there's lots of victims and perpetrators, the families are generally ignored and they don't get a lot of spotlight. In this Diane Sawyer interviews, she interviews these people in the 1990s. She interviewed the victims of the the daughters and the mob wives of Italian American men who became victims of the Italian American mob during the violence in the wars of the 1980s. And so there's sort of like a group of Italian American women that looks a similar picture to this picture right here in the interview from the 90s with Gravano. So can I go all the way back to the top of my Watch Later playlist? There's so far like 1,000 videos, and there's a 5,000 limit. So here's here's the vlog that I'm just talking about, and Petito. It says right here, Petito. That looks very similar, eerily similar to my last name. And I'm this close to using a hair straightener, if I could just make this about myself, like everyone else does. I mentioned Goldie Wilson in my extended blog on the 48 Laws and 33 Strategies about never appearing to be working too hard. Almost as if a joke, Marty McFly looks to Goldie Wilson character in Back to the Future and says, "You could be mayor someday." And he's like, mayor? What's a mayor? And then, of course, I'm looking in the mirror right now. Not to be confused with mayor. So anyways, there's even like a couple of more large, extremely significant pieces of culture that relate to this news story. One is Wrong Turn. At least watch the trailer preview from 2003. Route 66, Chuck Berry, as I mentioned. Here's the extended version in the Disney movie. A very important thing to understand is this 1408 movie with Samuel L. Jackson about a hotel room. And she, in the news article, it says she stayed in a hotel at Salt Lake City Airport for multiple days without the man, laundry man, whatever his first name is, Brian, I think. Here is the news report that I just mentioned. Hopefully it's muted. So here's Rosalind Wiseman, and they're on a panel. And let me turn on the closed captions. She mentions the key word again of dignity in this news report. If I could... Okay, so the first thing she's introduced as the author, Rosalind Wiseman. That's not how her name is spelled. Best-selling book, Queen Beans and Wanna Beans. Okay, she wrote that story, and okay, well, where does she say? She says the keyword dignity. It's mentioned from the character Leon Phelps in the Saturday Night Live movie The Ladies' Man. I would have to scroll all the way back down to that part of the playlist. There, right here, young people's dignity. There, she says it. Thank you for that, Rosalind Wiseman. And she has Something with Dignity. That's the name of her charity organization. So let me go ahead and change apps over here to Documents. I have some. I read an article about not a lot of people have heard about Nixon's dog, but this is a different dog that he was. I don't know. It was a story on New York Times, and I had learned that I could copy the entire article before the prompter to subscribe to their subscription service, and I copied it and pasted it into my text. I downloaded a .txt app right there, and I could load that, I suppose, and show how that goes. The back button on my phone doesn't work. I hooked up a keyboard yesterday to try to, and now phone is falling. So here's part of that article here, and it's actually about the lady who was where she was a all-around advisor and image consultant for decades, very long time. She applied makeup to 9 presidents, from Dwight David Eisenhower to Bill Clinton to and I think she like always lived in the White House all that time. Can I not go back to the files? Oh, no, I can't. There's no way for me to exit. What if I press exit? Where's it going to take me? Something I've never been before. Oh, good. Okay, so here it is. So here I have a book called Word Games, and it's an entire book written. It's Zachary Hubbard from YouTube called Letters and Numbers right here, and it's about just letters and numbers and symbols, and that's one chapter of the 48 laws over here, and that's the 37th law. It's sort of buried. He says never. I mean, one of his resonating quotes is "Never get lost then or buried in oblivion with the timid masses," and that's court attention at all costs. The bland and timid masses. Okay, I didn't hit that. Yeah, buried in oblivion. Right here it says buried in oblivion. Never get lost in the crowd. Bland and timid masses. Okay, so anyways, there's a lot of interesting laws over here, and the most important in the 33 strategies, his third book, it says know how to end things, have an exit strategy. And the most important thing to have an exit strategy from is the endless labyrinth of getting lost in this power stuff. Oh, the non-players. The people who are non-players. Those who claim to be non-warriors and stuff. People who aren't willing to admit that there's a war going on. The game of power. Where's the labyrinth that he mentions? I think it's at the very end. Playing with appearances. That's where it just said playing with appearances somewhere, right here. Or something. Anyways, that's, like I just mentioned, the lady. So like a billiard ball, I'm going to travel through these laws and take this camera phone on a journey. It is a labyrinth. So what's the exit strategy to get out of this labyrinth? No one can reasonably... I'm one of the only people in the world that has these laws memorized, and most of the book memorized. Comparable to that movie, not I Am Legend, the one with Denzel Washington where he memorizes the Bible front to back. I can't think of the name of it. Your mind becomes consumed with solving power's infinite problems. And power, in one word, is danger. It's easy to find danger. It's easy, it's not easy. There can only be one Einstein, or there can only be one Napoleon Bonaparte. And the way to get what this stuff called power is to look what is everyone else afraid to talk about, what is everyone else afraid to do. There's going to be risk. There's going to be danger. You might even be gambling your life. Some of the greatest people in history, right, have done some things like that. I wouldn't recommend that. However, I would recommend understanding seduction, as it says right here. Seduction is deception. Power is danger. Like Austin Danger Powers. Power is danger is his middle name. That's another Saturday Night Live movie. So anyways, how to navigate through the endless maze of power, and it's to know how to end things. Right here, assume formlessness, right here. So having no form. The form and structure would be going from 47 to 48, and then back to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, but no. The formlessness is going from 48 to, in my opinion, the most important, and that's number 37. It talks about radiant symbols, and the radiant is like the sun, when he says never outshine the sun, or something similar in law number 1. And so I'm just following a simple mathematical formula. That's what the book Letters and Numbers is all about. It's all about symbols and mathematical formulas. So I'm going from 48 to 37, and that's subtracting 11. again to go to 26 to 15 and then down to 4. Always say less than necessary. It follows a pattern. There's something written into this book in such a manner. As I mentioned in my 1-hour speech on this topic in this book, in March 2020, I checked in with Robert Greene's Twitter, and he just reshared a quote of "Keep your hands clean," and that's England. That was what England's National Institute of Health was talking about: hands, face, and space. Keep your hands clean. Talking about the cat's paw, and this is actually on like a cat, the stand, right? During the blackout of February 2020. Wait, no, February 21. Yeah, it's 21. Anyways, I was staying with a relative and sleeping on their couch, and I woke up and I had some kind of an allergy, and I looked and it was one of these cat stands, and I realized that Stephen King book, The Stand, must be about a cat stand. This is, I don't want to be anywhere close to one of these. Anyways, so that goes to 26 and then to 15 and 4. So that's only 4 laws to have memorized. So let me, from this book, that's just a starting place. That's how to sort of enter into the labyrinth. And then I'm going to skip right over the art of seduction again, even though there's a lot of important stuff there. So here's the same 11. It's like t minus 11. So if t in a math equation is 33, it's the final chapter of this book. Here's the entrance into the discussion of war. Subtract 11 again, hold into the same pattern, and go to 22. Know how to end things, the exit strategy, how to exit the labyrinth of power and war, right? And then number 11. Here's the 3 most important key chapters of this book. And as it says at the end of the introduction of 48 Laws, the only people who get rewards when there's so much punishment, there's rewards and punishment and all this stuff. The rewards are people who sit back and really read into what is being not communicated, even in something as obvious and direct as written words. There's still a subtext here. There's still stuff that's being left out. There's millions and billions of people who aren't included in this book, who are just as important as the people mentioned, like Napoleon Bonaparte and everything. There's one chapter in this book, so know your enemy, of course, that's about mosquitoes, and knowing that they're made out of springs. Even though they look like this, they're actually like springies. Springy wings, springy legs, spring body, everything. There's no way, I don't know. So what is the one about another important one? It's always hard for me to find. I think it might be fact and fiction. So there is, I don't know, everything seems plain, like a plain Jane, mundane, everything seems normal, yet, there is, it's out of the woodwork that all this stuff sort of, the most important details are. Oh, this is this one that I was going to read. No one seems to be interested in having the moral high ground. It's a very important thing to have. Even when the cameras are off, and especially when the cameras are off. So here's definitely something about mosquitoes. Death by 1,000 bites. Communication strategies. All right. And so, hopefully, I don't know, I'm pleasantly lost. As is mentioned in the 48 Laws book, I'm pleasantly lost. So, I'll just say one thing about perfection. As I've stood right here and rapped Eric B. and Rakim's Follow the Leader song. He says, in this journey, you're the journal, I'm the journalist. Am I eternal or am I an eternalist? Something. I get those fused in my mind. Is he saying me or you or what? So the idea is, am I perfect or am I a perfectionist? I try to make no mistakes because everyone, as far as I know, and as far as I'm concerned, every single person who's ever lived on this planet has made a fatal mistake, and it was likely quite a few mistakes leading up to that. So I just try to stay in the habit of not making mistakes. The world's dangerous enough, right? So that's the idea with perfection. And so, yeah, I don't know how to end this, so I'll just go ahead and end it now. Here's the mirror. Disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. I was thinking about this recently. Is that from The Art of Seduction? I don't know. I have these books. I hide them, and then I can't find them for years sometimes, and I just have to sort of dig into my mind, as also in the song Follow the Leader, Eric B. and Rakim. Dig into my brain as the rhyme gets chosen. What would you say as the earth gets further and further away? Planets as small as balls of clay, astray into the Milky Way. World's out of sight, as far as the eye can see, not even a satellite. Now stop and turn around and look. As you stare in the darkness, your knowledge was took. And keep staring, and suddenly, Susan, you'll see a star. And you better follow it, because it's the R. And if you're guessing, if you're borrowing, hurry, hurry, step right up and keep following the leader. I left out like one word. That was almost 100%. So I'm trying to never appear too perfect, right? So the mirror effect is one of the tactics in The Art of Seduction. There's different characters. There's different tactics to use. One of them, I don't know. Indirection is the most important concept of all three trilogies, is direct versus indirect. And the mirror effect, as I mentioned, the mirror, like in Back to the Future when Marty McFly is like, Goldie, you're going to be mayor someday. And he's like, what? He's like working too hard to clean up the streets of what? What's the city name in Back to the Future? It's the Enchantment Under the Sea dance. It's the clock tower. Save the clock tower. And there's like even a sign in the 1950s when they're building the neighborhood. Hill Valley, right? He's going to be the mayor of Hill Valley. And so that's like the mayor up here. It sort of has a hypnotic effect, especially on wild animals, trying to sort of, I don't know what to say. The mirror effect. It's in both The Art of Seduction and The 48 Laws. Okay, so I suppose I'll just I'll end the video here and continue on actually trying to read through this book and giving a further real commentary. And I'm this close to using a hair straightener. In my entire 20s, I did not use a comb even once. Not even once. A comb or a brush or anything like that. I had short hair. I don't think I ever really had long hair until I almost turned 30. And it's like when I rediscovered the comb at earlier this year, it was my dad's old comb that he's had since I can remember. And it's like rediscovering fire or something. It's awesome to have a comb. And I've seen this hair straightener stuff before, and I've heard a lot about it. I'm definitely considering attempting a hair straightener. So anyways, that's all. Video journal over. Yep. Do I want to start recording? Okay.